bring us the greatest blessing of the Son, Amen. Father, in the name of the Father, of the Son, of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Mayang gabi.
Good evening.
Good
Good evening.
Good evening. So, ang atong topic is still in the imitation of Christ, the intimate friendship of Jesus. Loving Jesus above all things. Blessed is he who appreciates what it is to love Jesus and who denies himself for the sake of Jesus. Give up all other love for his, since he wishes to be loved alone above all things. Jesus wants to be loved alone above all things. We can love creatures, created things, people, we can love, but dili siya gusto nga naa siya'y kakompetensya. He said, I am a jealous God. He wants to be loved above all. So let us meditate on that, because it is easy to say that we love Him above all, but if we analyze closely our life, our thoughts, what always occupies our minds, it will be revealed kung kinsa gyud ang atong ginalab. That is why we are instructed to deny ourselves, because ang pinaka number one nga kompetensya ni Lord is ourselves. That is why iyag yun ang gisulti, if you want to be my disciple, before niya gisulti ang take up your cross, iyang gisulti deny yourself, because ang number one nga idolatry is ourselves. We put ourselves first above Jesus. So in order to love Jesus, you have to deny yourself and put yourself last. Actually, the secret to spiritual life is Jesus first, others second, you last. Actually, dapat mas mulabaw pa ang atong paghigugma sa atong isikitawo, no? Last kita sa atong kagalingon. Jesus first, others second, you last. Ingon si Saint Pascal of Bailon, in order to save your souls, you need to have 3 hearts in one. So, first, you should have a heart of a son before your God our Father. So, an attitude of a son before our God. Second, you should have a heart of a mother before others, your fellow man, before your neighbors. And third, you should have a heart of a judge before yourself. Affection for creatures is deceitful and inconstant, but the love of Jesus is true and enduring. We know this already, but we have to always be reminded, even to the point of we have to be reminded every day, because we know a lot of things, but the enemy is taking it from our memories. So, ang love sa creatures, created things, especially mga properties, business, gadgets, people, pleasures, leisure, resorts, anything. No? The love of those things are deceitful, and it is not constant. No? Sometimes they will give us happiness, but a lot of times they will betray us. Even our friends, even those people that we rely But the love of Jesus is always true and will endure till the end. So kung kinsay nagsalig sa mga creatures will fall because creatures are frail. But he who give himself to Jesus alone will be strengthened. Love him, keep him as a friend. He will not leave you as others do. So ang root word dere nga importante, keep him as your friend. We have to be reminded also of this because malimot na ta, we treat him as a parang gods na he is distant, but he is not just our God, he is our friend. Ingon si Jesus, greater love, no greater love than this, that he lay his life for the sake of his friend. So he considers us friend and brother. So we should treat atong i-treat si Jesus as a friend, as our best friend. Sometimes, whether you will or not, you will have to part with everything. Cling therefore to Jesus in life and death. Trust yourself to the glory of Him who alone can help you with all others fail. Diba? Sa gusto mo nato sa dili, we really have to say goodbye to people, depart from things. And sometimes because of death, sometimes because of conflict, sometimes because they just fail us. They don't want us. But Jesus will always be faithful. He will not accept what belongs to other. Unsay pasabot ana? So Jesus, dili siya mo accept og heart nga gipinag-iyahan na sa uban. Gusto niya suluhon lang yun niya. Bale siya ang naka-enthroned nga king sa iya mong heart. Unsay pasabot ana? Kung ang imong heart gipanag-iyahan na og mga creatures, gipanag-iyahan na og money, gipanag-iyahan na og hobbies, gipanag-iyahan na og pleasures, o dili siya ang nanag-iya, di siya mudawat. He wants your heart to himself alone. He will not accept what belongs to another. So, tinuod gyud ang sulti ni Jesus nga, where your heart is, there is your loyalty. You cannot serve two masters. If you but know how to free yourself entirely from all creatures, Jesus would gladly dwell within you. So if you are wondering why until now we are not growing spiritually, maybe we have not freed ourselves entirely from creatures. Atong affection more padre sa world. So if you know how to free yourself from creatures, Jesus will dwell in you. Apart from Him, nearly all the trust you place in men is a total loss. So we should also analyze, meditate, where do we put our trust? Sometimes makampantita if we are friends with this, because knowing that this is well connected, this can help us in times of need, in times of legal problems. So we are always confident and we are peace of mind if we have connections. But it should not be the case. It should be we are peaceful because we have Christ. Because those people that we thought all the while could help us will fail us. Not always, but a lot of times. Therefore, neither confide in nor depend upon a wind shaken read, for all flesh is grass. So, mo na itong isulti kaniya. No? Just like a grass would easily fade. You will quickly be deceived if you look only to the outward appearance of men. And you will often be disappointed if you seek comfort and gain in them. Yeah. You look at them, they look strong, they look powerful, they look clever, bright, no? But you will be disappointed most of the time. If however you seek Jesus in all things, you will surely find Him. Seek and you will find, di ba? Knock and you will be open, ask and you will be given. But if you seek yourself, you will find yourself to your own ruin. So may pasabutan na. You are seeking your own pleasure, seeking your own interest, seeking you and you and you and you. How about me? I want to be happy. What about my happiness? It's always about you. You don't know how to do penance. You don't know how to offer sacrifice. No? Always seek the will of Jesus. But if you always seek your happiness, your comfort, you will seek yourself to your ruin. For the man who does not seek Jesus does himself much greater harm than the whole world and all his enemies could ever do. So imagine for a second, for one moment, the greatest terrorist will kidnap you and will torture you. That's the greatest thing that they can do to you. But mas dako nga damage, mas grabe pa, mas terror pa ang mahitabo sa imo, ha? No? If you do not know how to seek Jesus. So today, a man who does not seek Jesus will harm himself more than all his enemies could ever do to him. No? Because the consequence is eternal. No? Sa may mahimo sa terrorist nga mag-torture diri mo panandalian. But if you do not seek Jesus, it is an eternal consequence. When Jesus is near, all is well, and nothing seems difficult. When He is absent, all is hard. O nang nagsulti si Jesus, "Come unto me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, because my yoke is light, my yoke is easy, and my burden is light." Di ba? So may pasabutan ng burden. Burden na gani, easy pa. And ang iyang yoke, gaan lang. Di ba ang yoke mo man ginabutang sa kabaw para maguyod mo na yoke. Kung tanaw ni mo, bugat siya, yoke man. Trabaho man ka. Pero He assured us that it is easy. Kung tanawon lang bugat. So if you do God's will, kung tanawon ni mo, it will hinder you. You have to do penance, you have to do sacrifice, you have to deny yourself. At face value, tanawon ni mo, mura siya bugat. Pero gipasaligan ta niya, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Kaya kung matilawanan ni mo daw, once you decided to go to Him and do His will, you will find out that it is really light. Because if you do if you have a relationship with Jesus and ginabuhat nimo ang iyang will, life will become easy. Isang example ng isulti ni Saint Jean Vianney, ang pagpasaylo. Abi nimo, lisod ang pagpasaylo. It will take mas lami ang feeling nga di nimo siya pasayluhon because you have something that you hold on nga satisfies your revenge. It satisfies your ego, no? And sa imong tan-aw, it will take great effort to forgive. But if you do the will of God and forgive that person, makuha ang kagtunok, and your life will be more joyful, and wala kay ang katong mga tao nga na-grudge, sige to sila o gina kutkot ang ilang kasing-kasing o bitterness, o they are always angry and bitter. Something is missing. But the person who easily forgives, he is free, is happy, and joyful disposition. Mawala pa ang wrinkles. Ha? So muna nga, kung tanawan ni mo at face value, bugat ang commandment ni God. Pero actually, it is light. When Jesus is near, nothing seems difficult. Tinood ko na siya. When Jesus does not speak within, all other comfort is empty. But if He says only a word, it brings great consolation. Did not Mary Magdalene, katong hilak siya kay namatay ang iyang igsuon nga si Lazaro, and then giingnan siya, Martha, the Master is come and He calls for you. And then she suddenly rose and at once stopped weeping. Yeah? Happy is the hour when Jesus calls one from tears to joy of spirit. He calls us. He communes with us. He gives us divine consolation in prayer during our morning and evening conversation with Him. So never skip the morning and evening conversation, because it is there that we get comfort, we get strength to do our apostolate, strength to change our behaviors, strength to withstand temptations, strength to forgive. No? So everything starts in prayer. Mo gani ako advice sa mga ako na mangutanan nako about fasting, penance, sa mga fasting, sa mga abstinence, ako advice nila, never start fasting. Don't do those things until you have developed a stable prayer life. Fasting ka, wala kay prayer life, way pulos. Everything starts from prayer. Everything starts from a prayer life. Even your apostolate work. If you do not have a prayer life, all those things are useless. Because all those things are done for your own ego, not in a life of relationship, communion with God. No? Always develop first a life of prayer, just like Mother Teresa. No? How foolish and vain if you desire anything but Him. Now, sige tagunahuna kanunay, how do I save the world? How do I change the world? How do I make the world a better place? How can I help the world? But foolishness if you don't desire to be with Him. It is still all about you. You are imagining a lot of things of your own design. But everything you do, first and foremost, for His sake. Is it not a greater loss than losing the whole world if you lose Him? You say, I'm doing this all for you. I'm doing this all for you, Jesus. But you have no time to pray? Mura lang kag parehas sa bata nga, all these trips that I go, I'm not present at home for 1 week, business meeting. This is for you, kids. And the kids will say, we need your presence, Daddy. We don't need your business trips. We need you here at home. Mao po na ang itubag ni Jesus sa tuwa. Daghang tangi buhat, Martha, Martha, you are busy with a lot of things, but Mary found the better part, and it will not be taken away from her. For what without Jesus can the world give you? Life without Him is a relentless hell, but living with Him is a sweet paradise. Ningon si Saint Joseph of Cupertino, I want to serve you, Jesus. I don't even serve you because of heaven. I want to serve you because for your sake. Yeah? Not just, muna yung insultin si Saint Joseph, not just for heaven. I serve you because of you. If Jesus be with you, no enemy can harm you. Ngayon dahil ng uban, Os, kadaghan ng mga Diyos na nga nangamatay, mga madre, pare, gipang torture, saints, gipang martyr, pang putlag ulo. So, sa may pasabot ni mo nga, if Jesus be with you, no enemy can harm you. And even sa Psalm 91, di ba? Even 1,000 arrows to the day will not harm you. So, what all this nonsense ang inasulti? Ang isulti diya, spiritual. No? Spiritual. Because Jesus confirmed that people can kill your body. People can harm your body. Sabi nga siya sa Matthew chapter 10, verse 28. Do not be afraid of those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Kaya ang tinuod ng gid natong akontra is sin, no? Spiritual death. So ang resulted rin nga, no enemy can harm you, harm your soul, your spirit. They can kill the body, they can torture, they can do harm. But sometimes, with God's intervention, if He wills it sa iyang plano, He will save people from physical harm, but not always. Kaya kung always, wala na yung mga matay. Diba? Sa Bible, sometimes He saved Saint Paul, pagawas niya sa prisuhan. Sometimes, na ay mga tao ang i-save niya from accidents. Pero not always. Sometimes He wants to show His glory, His magnificence. Pakita niya. But, if the time comes that He will take you, your life will end, no? He will allow you to be taken away. Morning sulti sa Bible, sa Romans chapter 8, verse 38. For I am convinced that neither death nor life, nor demons, neither the present, nor the future, nor any powers, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is Jesus Christ. Amo ni, wala bisan pag demonyo, bisan pag angels, neither death, neither life can separate us. So mo ning pasabot nga no enemy can harm you if you are with Jesus. He who finds Jesus finds a rare treasure. Indeed, a good above every good, whereas he who loses Him loses more than the whole world. It is so easy to lose Jesus, one mortal sin. And to find Jesus, it is also simple, but it is hard. It takes denying of self, prayer life, and renouncing of the world. The man who lives without Jesus is poorest of the poor. Sad to say, daghang tao, they are living without Jesus, but they do not know it. So this is the goal of this Bible study group, that we are to be reminded always to search deep in our souls, because daghan kayong tao karon that they are so complacent, they are so comfortable because they thought they are living with Jesus. But actually, they are not. And if you say about give our life to Jesus, moingon po sila hallelujah, amen. But they do not know that they are not living with Jesus there. They do not know that they are poorest of the poor. Because it is easy to say, I love Jesus, but your schedule of the day will tell you who are you living for. Your schedule of the day, what is containing most of your thoughts, reveals who are you living for. No? Whereas no one is so rich as the man who lives in His grace. It is a great art to know how to converse with Jesus, and a great wisdom to know how to keep Him. Diba? Muna, isa sa pinaka-nindot nga art skill is to how to talk to Jesus, the source of all strength. So how do you do it? Be humble and peaceful, and Jesus will be with you. Humble lang yun. Even in your thoughts, especially in your thoughts, because abi na to, ang humility tama na siya sa external acts. No, it starts with a thought. Never think that you are better than others. Never think that you are holier than others. God does not like that. Always humble yourself that you are a sinner, that you need salvation, you need help, you are wretched. So, never think that you are more holy than others. So, be humble, be peaceful, be devout and calm, and He will remain with you. Ang isa man ng devout, other terms sa devout, faithful. You may quickly drive Him away and lose His grace if you turn back to the outside world. No, to the outside world. So if you turn your thoughts again to the pleasures of the world, I'm not saying that you will not have pleasure, but kung imong life seeking always chasing for pleasure, it's not good. So if you turn back to the outside world, you will lose His grace, you will quickly drive Him away. And if you drive Him away and lose Him, to whom will you go? And whom will you then seek as a friend? You cannot live well without a friend. And if Jesus be not your friend, above all else, you will be very sad and desolate. Some people cannot live without barkada. Some people cannot live without friend. No? So, if you cannot live without friend, make Jesus your friend. Talk to Him. And He will not fail you, disappoint you, even in seeking for advice. No? Thus you are acting foolishly if you trust or rejoice in any other. Choose the opposition of the world rather than offend Jesus. Yeah, the spirit of the world is different. No? Ang truth karon, grabe na. No? Daghan na kayong mga tao karon nga gipang-cancel because they would even the statement that gender is a fact, wala na. You will be cancelled because ang truth is already manipulated nga kung kinsa ang popular belief mo na nay truth. Someday 2 plus 2 will become 5. No, it doesn't matter na kay tanan nagsulti naman, no? So even if the whole world believes contrary to God's commandment, better choose to oppose it rather than you offend Jesus. Of all those who are dear to you, let him be your special love. Let all things be loved for the sake of Jesus. So if you love someone, if you love something, suppose it should be because for the love of God, for the love of Jesus. Ngayon si Saint Joseph of Cupertino, ang treatment daw nato sa creatures, mura daw siya og eyeglasses. That when you treat creatures, it should reflect the glory of God. When you see animal, mountain, sea, you should see God in this. Even in your friends, in your son, in your child, looking at your child, you see Jesus. You thank God, wow, Lord, how magnificent nga na ako'y anak. Thank you, Lord. How good. Kita ni mong asawa, kita ni mong friends. It should always remind you of God, not just for the sake of that creature alone, that your mind stops there. Kaya ingon si Saint Joseph of Cupertino, how foolish he is out of his mind if somebody wears an eyeglasses just to look at the eyeglasses. You wear an eyeglasses to see through, right? But if you use an eyeglasses just for looking at the eyeglasses, you're out of your mind. Maupod na sa ato. If we just look at things for the sake of that thing and not to remind us of the Creator, we are out of our mind. For Him and in Him, you must love friends and foes alike. So, for the sake of Jesus, we must love our enemies and also our friends alike. And we pray that all may know Him and love Him. Nindot ni nga slide. Always remember this slide. Never desire special praise or love, for that belongs to God alone, who has no equal. Sometimes we wish to be praised, we want to be loved. Sometimes it's not bad to be praised, it's not bad to be loved, but kinang gusto ka nga ikaw yung musikat yun. No, do not desire that, for that belongs to God alone. Do not desire special praise or love. It is good enough to be praised or loved, but not special praise or love. Never wish that anyone's affection be centered in you. Nor let yourself be taken up with the love of anyone. Kasi pasabot aning never let yourself be taken up with the love of anyone. Dapat dili ka ma-engrossed sa affection sa usa ka tawo nga mahurot na ikaw, you'll be consumed, no? But let Jesus be in you and in every good man. You must bring to God a clean and open heart. So when you go to prayer, what will you bring? Clean and open heart. That's why Jesus said, if you have some grudge in your heart, forgive that person immediately in your heart. Do not face Jesus in your morning prayer with some grudge, with some things, no? Clean, open heart. If you wish to attend and see how sweet the Lord is. That is why ang atong prayers dili effective, because pag abot nato sa prayer puno og mga say akong buhaton niya, talagang daghan kayo mga material things, dili siya clean, no? So naa gani prayer, ako i-forward next time unya makita nako prayer before prayer. Kita nimo to? Prayer before prayer. Truly, you will never attain this happiness unless His grace prepares you. So, ang grace, kinahanglan pa dayta i-prepare sa grace ni God, no? We cannot reach this happiness. And draws you so that you may forsake all things to be united with Him alone. So in order to forsake all things, you need the grace of God. So you cannot, lisod ba mga igsoon mag-forsake sa world? Ha? Kinsa may ganahan mag-forsake sa world nga makalilingaw magitan-aon, no? But in order to do that, you will be equipped by the grace of God. So you ask that grace. So when the grace of God comes to a man, he can do all things. But when it leaves him, becomes poor and weak, abandoned, and as it were, to affliction. Yet in this condition, he should not become dejected or despair. On the contrary, he should calmly await the will of God and bear whatever befalls him in praise of Jesus Christ. Sabutan na time nga murag spiritual dryness ta, ginatuyo na ni God nga i-withdraw ang iyahang divine consolation nga murag layo siya, murag bungol siya sa atong mga pag-ampo. But we should not feel despair or dejected. We should wait lang. We should wait until He comes back. He gives those divine consolations back, no? Para sa ato nang ma-practice ang atong faith to strengthen us, to make us strong. One thing, no share in comfort. It is not hard to spurn human consolation when we have divine. So muna, unsay pasabot ana, okay lang nga dili kita pag makadawat og human consolations gikan sa mga tao, mga affections sa mga tao, pwede nato tawag talikdan, no? Kung naay divine consolation kay God, lami kay itong feeling, no? Lami kay itong feeling kay spirit muratag spiritually energized. But it is hard when wala na kay human consolation, wala pa kay divine consolation, no? To live without either divine or human comforting and for the honor of God, no? Willingly to endure this exile of heart, not to seek oneself in anything and to think nothing of one's own merit. So kani listen kayo. But sometimes God allows it. So in our prayer, brothers and sisters, do not always expect parang nindot kaayo nga feeling in your prayer, because it is not a good sign. It is a sign that you are spiritually immature if you always expect God to give you spiritual and divine consolation. You must learn to part with an intimate and much needed friend for the love of God. Do not take it to heart when you are deserted by a friend, knowing that in the end, we must all be parted from one another. Ato na nang giisgutan ganiha, no? Whether we like it or not, we will part from one another. So, do not be too dejected. A man must fight long and bravely against himself before he learns to master himself fully and to direct all his affections toward God. So, unsay message diri? It doesn't happen immediately. It will take a long time. Be patient. You must fight and long and brave. Against kinsa man? Against yourself. Before you can learn to fully master yourself. When he trusts in himself, he easily takes to human consolation. Una nga, kung wala ta nang salig sa Ginoo, we always depend on ourselves. When we are troubled, asa man ta paingon? Automatic dito dadayon mo adto mangita tag comfort sa mga tao, mato ta sa barkada, makigstorya ta o comfort sa mga worldly pleasures. But the true lover of Christ, however, who sincerely pursues virtue, does not fall back upon consolations, nor seek such pleasures of sense, but prefers severe trials and hard labors for the sake of Christ. So, dali lang kaya tamo ko, no? I deserve this, I deserve a pleasure, rest, like that. But a true lover of Christ would prefer severe trials and hard labors. Si Saint Teresa of Avila, if I'm not mistaken, 2 years siya, spiritual dryness. Si Saint Joseph Cupertino, 2 years po. And then another interval na po nga dugay-dugay. Si Saint John of the Cross, muna ginasulti nilang the dark night of the soul. Walay divine consolation. Wapag human consolation. But they remain steadfast. They prefer, these are trials and labors for them. When therefore spiritual consolation is given by God, receive it gratefully. So ihatag niya si mo, ha? I'm sure nakatilaw na mo ana, nakasalay na mo ana. Lami kay pray. You are very naapoy time nga di ka ganahan mo pray. Mo itaw nga spiritual dryness. Pero kabalo ba mo nga ang reward ni God mas dako when you pray when you don't feel like it? Yeah. The more you don't feel like praying and you still pray, the more the merit. Okay. So, you have to receive it gratefully, but understand that it is His gift and not your meriting. Ayaw ganoon na nga nakadawat ka divine consolation because of something good you have done. No. You don't deserve it actually. It is a gift given to you freely when He chooses it and where He chooses it. Do not exalt, do not be overjoyed if you receive it. Do not be presumptuous, but become more humble for the gift. More careful and wary in all your actions, for this hour will pass. So, this will pass. It's just temporary. It's not always. And after that divine consolation, temptation will come to try you again. No? Always remember that. Saan ang nabasahan ako sa mga life of the saints, after grabbing temptation, banat muranas nagmamatay, temptation kulata sa diyawa, moabot ang mga angel, they will be comforted, they will be given divine consolation. And then temptation na naman. When consolation is taken away, do not at once despair, but wait humbly and patiently for the heavenly visits. So this is neither new nor strange to one who knows God's ways. Para sa mga naanad na mag-ampo, kabalo na sa style ni God, dili na ni katingala. Kabalo na ka sa pattern. No? For such change of fortune often visited the great saints and prophets of old. Interval na siya, interval. So if you are visited with a great divine consolation, expect temptation will come na naman after some time. If this is the case with great saints, we who are weak and poor ought not to despair, because we are fervent at times and at other times cold. For the Spirit comes and goes according to His will. Of the blessed Job declared, "You visited him early in the morning, and you prove him suddenly." Huh? Nga nakadali. For though I have with me good men, devout brethren, faithful friends, holy books, beautiful treatises, sweet songs and hymns. Tanan na sila, no? All this help and please but little when I am abandoned by the grace and left to my poverty. Mo nagsulti sa usa ka spiritual writer. At such time, there is no better remedy than patience and resignation of self to the will of God. So patience, and you resign to the will of God. You entrust fully yourself to the will of God. Wala pa kuno siya kakita o usa ka tawo nga religious kayo, devout, nga who has not experienced at some time a withdrawal of grace and felt a lessening of fervor. No saint was so sublimely rapt and enlightened as not to be tempted before and after. Muna itong isulti. He indeed is not worthy of the sublime contemplation of God, who has not been tried by some tribulation for the sake of God. So if you have not been tried with great tribulation, you are not worthy to receive sublime contemplation. For temptation is usually the sign preceding the consolation that is to follow, and heavenly consolation is promised to all those who have proven by temptation. Mo ta akong isulti kaniya. After sa grabe nga temptation, kumbate, attack, harassment, the devil, and then you prove yourself, no? Heavenly consolation will follow. First, you have to be proved. Unang sa Revelation chapter 2 verse 7, to him that overcome, I will give to eat of the tree of life. Divine consolation then is given in order to make a man braver. So, unsay purpose sa divine consolations? To make us brave, to encourage us along the way, to endure temptation. And pag humana na, temptation will follow. Unsay purpose sa temptation nga ihatag pagkahuman? So that pride will not set in. Kaya kung dili butangan og temptation, muburot ang atong ego. Just like sa kay Saint Paul. The devil does not sleep, nor is the flesh yet dead. You must never cease your preparation for battle, because on the right and on the left are enemies who never rest. So until you are dead, hindi pa kapatay, your flesh is still active. You will still be tempted. Muna nga si Saint Paul, ingon siya, in order to keep me from being proud, a thorn was given me. 3 times I have pleaded the Lord to take it away, but the Lord said, no, my grace is sufficient for you. So, muna ang purpose, so that we will not become proud. Okay. May gabi sa tanan. Thank you. Salamat. Okay. Closing prayer ta.
Okay, let us all pray the Hail Mary in the name of the Father, of the Son, of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Doc. Thank you, everyone.
Night.
Thank you. Good evening.
Thanks.